HustlesAfrica.com, a guide to high-paying online jobs. At HustlesAfrica.com, you'll discover the jobs people are doing from home, the platforms where opportunities are found, the skills that open doors, and the practical steps to begin earning. Go to HustlesAfrica.com today.
Tuesday!
Haikuzo makasi ni watafute uongozi pamoja wasitafute.
Barabara ya kutoka Maralal kwenda Opiroi, itoke Opiroi iende Partiloi. Mnasema tuendelee na hiyo barabara.
We cannot say that as ODM we just want to be there. We want power.
Watu wa mlima, kama mngesikia Uhuru Kenyatta wakati ule, hatungekuwa na hii tabu. Hiyo ni kweli.
Mimi niambia akina Junet, mnatukana Uhuru Kenyatta. Wewe Junet kwanza ulipewa pesa ya agent, I was there, ukakuja, ukanegotiate na Ruto, akakuambia ukule, msikuwe na agent, mkashindwa. Ile NHIF ulipanga ilikuwa nafanya kazi mzuri, ilitolewa, yule jamaa akaleta mnyama ingine anaitwa SHA.
Even as you drive here, we remember some of the things we started doing here that are incomplete. Some of the infrastructure projects that are not done, that are incomplete.
Be leaders. That is what the people of Kenya want. They want leadership. They don't want politics. They don't want insults. They don't want. Iwe ni mwasha ageiria kipindi kinene muno ya gutwara andu aitu njira itagireire. Kirindi gikiri kirenda mumatongorie ngoro na kiroho. No maundu ma thi no ri. Tigerai atongoria aria moi maundu ma thi no. O mundu arute wira wa mutigoke gutuhingica ringi.
Sema ati Uhuru Kenyatta rais wetu hawezi fanya kazi tariki G. Mulijua namna gani? How do you know?
My brother Uhuru Kenyatta, I know they will look for you. Because one thing, if they see you sitting like this, they might even send KRA after you tomorrow.
Leo toro ni jaragia gacoka gatinda kiumia gigima ngatheti-ini ngihurwo na ngirumagwo ri. Toro on ajikarita agwiro ni.
Mimi nataka tujipange kama jamii ya magharibi, si ndio? Ile mambo ambayo wamefanyia Sifuna inakwambia kwamba watu yangu usikubali kwenda kwa nyumba ya mtu. Wamechukua Sifuna wametupa nje, wameweka mama ingine amepatiwa karatasi kusoma akashindwa kusoma. Kwa sababu Sifuna hakukuwa kwa nyumba yake, si ndio? Hata Rigiji alifukuzwa kwa sababu yeye hakukuwa na nyumba. Walichoma nyumba yao wakaingia kwa UDA. Walimfukuza au kumfukuza? Wakati ya watu wachache kwenda kukaa mahali kwa rumu moja na kutupaka imefanya nini? Imekwisha. Si ndio watu yangu? Mogi alikufa, Wamalwa kijana atakana kuchukua chama cha Ford Kenya. Hawa jamaa wakamtoroka. Akabaki peke yake. Wakaenda wakaunda chama kingine. Si ndio? Sasa Muluya atakuwa ni mtu ya kusapoti watu wakati wa Kenya kusapoti sisi itakuwa siku gani? Sasa wakati tunaambia hawa jamaa kura yetu ni 5 ndio hii. Si ndio? Tunadai kiti kubwa.
Wamekataa kuvunja vyama. Na wanataka sisi tuwape siku ile inafika 2027. tunaambia ng'oo, kama unajua uko na chama, na sitaki nitaje majina, na tulikupea viti kubwa kubwa kama mawaziri na zile zingine, funja chama yako uingie hii meli.
To demand the dissolution of Ford Kenya now is to bite the finger that once fed you. It implies that affiliate parties were merely a ladder to power, to be discarded once the summit has been reached.
I think Wetangula has the leverage to say no. First of all, if he insisted and became obstinate, the first job will go with the speaker's job. Is he willing to let go the speaker's job? Such a powerful, nice job with all the perks. So I think the push may not have been hard enough. If the president pushes hard enough.
Right, hello there, people of the internet. My name is Uduo Jagero, and this is Political Headache. You know when it is time for Political Headache, 7:30 on the dot. But today we are late with another 15 minutes. I blame Safina Party.
It's not my fault.
All right, people of the internet, you've had a lot of things. We have got a lot of political temperatures to begin from. We are going to be discussing what we are calling UDA trying to swallow all the other political parties. I don't know to what, for what gain. Okay, so UDA wants to swallow everyone. That one we know. Mudavadi already went down. Wetangula says never. Mutua says over our dead body. Kingi is saying something very interesting. Kingi says he's aligned but not folded. That's what he says. And Ruto says he's building a party for the ages. Not for ethnicity, not for tribe, but for ideology. So we are going to be testing that claim today, because when you look at the numbers, when you look at the broad-based government, when you look at UDM's entry into this arrangement, actually means for the original Kenya Kwanza partners. Okay, so you begin to see a very different story, Mr. Joachim and Mr. Mundi Choka. I don't think this story is about national unity. I think this story is for political survival. I think that I will want to hear what you guys think. But first of all, we want to start with the political temperature, what is going on. We are going to go to the funeral of what happened yesterday. I think it was a gathering of minds. If you look at that, you see Gachagua, you see Uhuru Kenyatta, you see Matiang'i, you see the man who has been there for 45 years. You see everybody. As a matter of fact, when you look at that funeral, you see Kenya's problem crystallized. And for everybody to see. Well, somebody who supports Gachagua like Omondi Ochoka will not agree with me. Omondi. So let me welcome some people from the internet, because they are gathering today to. I always call this a fireplace in the evening for men and women that want to sit down and exchange energy.
Yes.
Men that want to hear about the politics of our country. And so those men is Ratengo. Ratengo Polo is saying, I already camped here waiting for people of the internet. Good evening, Jagero. Good evening, people of the internet waiting to watch from Nakuru. Thank you very much for joining us from Nakuru. We appreciate it. Hello there, people of the internet. Kevin Owaga is saying that. Andrew is saying we are on standby. And shout out to Wabunga. I also want to add shout out to Frank, shout out to the lady who is in charge of research, in charge of giving us the video, that is Priska Vasht. You'll be hearing her voice. For the men that are always looking forward to hearing that voice, we are saying drip drop. Until such a time that she'll be on TV. So Haida is saying good evening, people of the internet. Mr. Haida, I am looking forward to your message. I haven't heard from you. Tuesday imepita, si ndio?
Alikuwa amesema nitafanya.
Alikuwa amesema kitu kubwa. Na sitaki kusema online. Because hii watu yenye wako hapa watamuandama. Godfrey Simiu is saying already here. Catherine is saying, yeah, Ijagero, how are you? Please be an English timer, not African. We said 7:30 p.m., but at least Simbaya.
It's an improvement on yesterday.
Okay.
It's a big
Peter Mwanza is saying tuned in following from Undanyi. Undanyi is where? In Kakamega? Undanyi is in Undanyi. Undanyi is in Coast.
Yes.
Undanyi is in Coast, yeah. Austin Ngaura is saying good evening, Jagero. Wanakuja wengi hawa jamaa bwana. Patrick is saying gathered here all the way from North Korea. North Korea, not South.
Kim Jong-un's place.
But are really Kenyans there? How much jamaa kutoa pa?
No. Kenyans are even in Syria. Kenyans are in Afghanistan. Kenyans. Yes, I saw a Kenyan in Cambodia.
Cambodia.
Yes, you can imagine Cambodia. There is this country.
Hey, Buzda is saying Nyarango live from Australia or from Austria. Nyarango live from Atlanta. Solomon is saying, glad I am able to join you this Holy Thursday, tuned in from Edmonton, capital city of the great province of Alberta, Canada.
Yes.
Thank you very much and welcome to the program. George Jageros, no. Jageros, no, kindly. I don't know what that means. Okay, somebody saying Shamala watching from Karen. Good job.
From
Karen.
Very nice.
Yeah. So thank you very much, people of the internet. I want to start by welcoming my guests today, Mr. Joachim Simiyu. I want to ask you, when you saw that funeral and the people that were speaking at that funeral, what did you think? You can say hi to the people of the internet. They look forward to your voice.
People of the internet, good evening. I don't know where you are, if it's evening or it's just here in Kenya, but where I am, it's 10 minutes to 8 p.m. And therefore, it's always an honor and a privilege to be here to exchange my mind with every other person. And today, I'm just here to talk about the political temperatures and what I think about the gathering that happened in Nyandarua in the funeral of the former senator there. I think when you go to a funeral, the person you mention the most should be the dead. You talk about the dead most before you come to these other things. But it seems that most especially the people who want to take over leadership who are more engaged in talking about President Uhuru. And
President William Ruto?
No. They were talking to President Uhuru.
Okay.
So there, I think that's a problem because I heard Martha Karua say that when Kibaki was working for the Kenyan people, she was there. Which means that the government, the last time Martha Karua remembers a government working with a semblance of goodness to the Kenyan people is during Kibaki's time. So I think that's a message to Uhuru that you see your time, we didn't really, we are not proud to associate ourselves with your reign.
We should be right.
I don't think that's farther from the truth because actually we have so many issues that we have to handle that emanated from President Uhuru Kenyatta coming into power. The other thing, I saw former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua talking about people who are now insulting Uhuru and saying that they should not be doing that.
It was amongst them.
I wonder where the Damascus moment happened because this is the person with a gold medal in insulting Uhuru Kenyatta to an extent of saying that wewe siuwe mimi kama vile mliua J.M. Kariuki. But maybe that was a political statement. And then I saw Kalonzo.
But perhaps perhaps now we know who actually killed J.M. Kariuki.
That has been
open secret.
Yeah, it has been an open secret because if you die after you've been summoned to be asked questions, then who takes the blame for your death? Like today we went to a DCI headquarters. Alafu, the last time you are seen alive is at the DCI headquarters. Then the next time you are seen, you are dead in Ngong Forest. So who takes the blame for your death? The president.
Yeah, but somebody was telling me that that could be a false flag.
A false flag.
That somebody who is your enemy might have seen you being summoned at the DCI, then takes advantage of that too small window to do away with you, and therefore the blame goes to the doorstep of the DCI.
There's a story about the death of J.M. Kariuki, given by the former special branch officer of the things that really happened. So J.M. Kariuki had been so fiery. And before the sermon, his gun was repossessed by government. He was disarmed. But because of he had very good friendship with the head of special branch at the time called Ben Gethi.
Okay.
So Ben Gethi was a friend to J.M. Kariuki. So J.M. Kariuki is in the bad books of government to an extent that his gun has been taken away. So Ben Gethi, being a friend of J.M., says, hey, look, I'm giving you this one, but don't tell people.
This gun?
Yes, off the record.
Okay.
Please don't misbehave. But for your own sake, you need something to take care of you. You have so many enemies. So he gives J.M. Kariuki a pistol. Then J.M. Kariuki is summoned to be asked questions. Was it Nyayo House? So you see, in the room of interrogation, Ben Gethi is there. He's the one guarding the door. Then there is an interrogation officer. I don't know if it was Chief of PO, Inspector PO, Chief Inspector PO. Chief Inspector PO was a man feared so much that his hand alone could
dislocate your jaws.
Could dislocate your jaws. He was, ukisikia unaenda kukutana na Chief Inspector PO, wewe uko na shida. So during this interrogation, you see J.M. Kariuki is not a man who gets intimidated. So he alijibu vibaya. So Opio akalima yeye kofi ikang'oa jino.
Hiyo ni kofi gani na ng'oa jino?
Wewe hujawahi pigwa wewe. Yeah. So the first instinct ya JM is like, huyu jamaa ananiona aje. And you see, Opio doesn't know that JM has a gun.
Because in his mind, they already disarmed him.
Yes. So the worst he can use is the fist agenda.
that is an equal power.
Okay. So JM reaches for his gun. But the only person who knows that JM has a gun is Ben Gethi at the door. He's hearing the commotion. And he sees JM reaching for his gun. So in an attempt to immobilize JM, he shoots his hand. You can imagine JM with no tooth and a fractured arm. That's not the person you let go. You have to deal with him. For you to deal with him in a manner that he doesn't have to go out there and say what has happened is this statement that says, dead people tell no tales. He has to die. There were plans to kill him, but he was not supposed to die on that day.
And even in that manner.
Yes. So they had to finish him so that he doesn't go out there and say, Ben Gethi ameua. So Ben Gethi to him is protecting himself for giving JM a gun off record. And Chief Inspector Opio is also protecting his job that is mekani nilipiga yeye nikavunja yeye so wakaua JM. And they had to now transport the body. Wakashindwa vile watatransport the body. They got kuna gari ya nyama. KMC. Gari ya KMC ya kubeba nyama. Hiyo ndo gari walitumia kubeba mwili ya JM mpaka Ngong.
Huko kwa kichaka.
Yes, wakatupa yeye huko. So the miracle of this story is that JM, even after like 42 weeks, after 2 weeks, his body had not decomposed and no animal had tampered with it. So wakati lijulikana JM is dead, the word reaches parliament. And I remember, was it Martin Shikuku or Grace Ogot? So they are told JM, and remember when maswali meanza kutokea kwamba JM is missing. Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, at that time as vice president, he came and delivered an official statement that JM Kariuki is not missing. He is on an official duty to Zambia. So when the story breaks out that JM is actually dead, the government tried to cover the story. So they rushes to where the scene is. They take JM Kariuki, they take him to Lee Funeral Home. But they remove his 6 lower teeth, like the Luo custom. Then they label his body as an unknown Luo gangster.
We were just talking about political temperature. Where are we going with this story? In finishing.
So that was an attempt so that when you see James' body and you see the tag, you don't look much. You are like,
not him.
This is not him. You are expecting someone maybe in a suit because he was a member of parliament. So wakati
Nyandarua North.
Yes, wakati walikimbia wabunge wameenda Lee Funeral City Mortuary kuangalia mwili, the special branch officers had been sent to pretend to be morticians. So I think it was Grace of God who recognized one of the officers. Akamuuliza kwa Kijaluo, wewe ulianza kuwa mortuary attendant lini?
I can imagine that.
Go back to the issues of Nyandarua.
Yes, so the issues
go back to the issues of Nyandarua.
So we started in Nyandarua.
Because it's a very nice story, and I think people of the internet, at some point we will have to start talking about the histories of our people.
Yeah, the histories of the people.
The history of our people. We have got very good histories of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga.
Yes.
We have the history of the Nyandarua North MP.
Yes.
JM Kariuki. We have histories of so many people, even the Mau Mau. We will even talk about Gachagwa's
father. Have a
father.
series of how did we start being a country? How
the making of a country.
Yes, the people who are notable, who contributed immensely. Where were they coming from? The rift where it came from. Because just as we go back to Nyandarua, the people who are on the forefront looking for the betterment of the country was a combination of Aluo and Akikuyu. The first person to start asking questions was Harry Thuku in 1924 about the quality of our education. So he teams up with a priest from Game called Ezekiel Apindi. So you see, hii rift ya kuleta the wedge between Akikuyu and Aluo, I think it's by design. So as we go back to Nyandarua.
We go back to Nyandarua, but what I wanted to say at this point is that we can take actually a day in a week.
Yes.
Where we just talk about the history of our country.
Very
and I don't know whether people of the internet, probably we can just ask them, do you think that talking about the history of our people, Hezekiah Oyugi?
The man who died and no government official attended his funeral, except Chief Inspector Pio. Yes.
And then we have a gentleman called Total Man.
Nicholas B. Ward.
There is James Kanyotu.
James Kanyotu. We had the intelligence guy who Moi thought he had hidden some things away from him and fired him.
Mr. Rono is asking, what is the agenda today? Rono will tell us. Rono, my friend, I want to go back to Ochuka. Ochuka, the temperature of the day. What do you think about what happened in Nyandarua? What do you think about... By the way, there is also a story, a big story. The nation is asking why Kenya is paying 3.9 billion in hosting rights for the 2027 AFCON. Those are the issues that are happening right now. What do you think about the political temperature of today?
Well, one thing is coming up very clearly. Uhuru is talking about unity a lot, and especially it's something that has come up in nearly the 4 speeches that I can remember that he has appeared in the most recent times. Now, I tend to be very wary with people who preach unity all the time. Not that it is a bad thing essentially, but it's usually a huge cover-up for questions that need to be asked. Because one of the biggest rains that is hitting us as a country is a rain that started during Uhuru's tenure. And yet, therefore, because right now there's a huge recalibration of the political scene, and Azimio has been revived in essence. But when we look at the people that we might think of giving the mantle to, who are in Azimio currently, led by Uhuru Kenyatta, it sometimes may appear that we are a bit personal with him, but it raises concerns that the person who actually midwifed some of the biggest messes of this country is Uhuru Kenyatta, and now he is leading an outfit. You see, somebody who has stolen your goat and eaten it while you are seeing it, and then telling you that you can actually take the bones and wrap it in a Uhuru bag, and then go eat with your children. That is somebody that you have to be really wary about. Now that comes up very, very, very strongly. Number two, it seems that there is a bigger ploy to go back to a unilateral decision-making or party mechanism in the country. And that is why, I don't know whether Ruto, being an evangelical like that he is wants to be the whale that swallowed Jonah. I don't know what political play that he's making around. Now, in terms of the Talanta, what is it that you said?
Yeah.
I think
the AFCON.
The AFCON, I think we are outbidding each other as East Africa, who's going to do the most with very little resources. And sometimes when things are done in rush, there's a lot of procedural flaws that happen, and those are some of the ways that we lose a lot of money. And I think we should be very careful in terms of how we go about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uhuru Kenyatta, I think, is a lot of already said something. Sometimes you listen to everybody that is speaking. Already said something that is very interesting, that Uhuru left the country, left the reins, a very young man, so to speak, and with a lot of stake in Kenya as an economy and as a country. And so he doesn't know what the people that have replaced him are thinking in terms of where his wealth is, what happens to his wealth. And the issue, there are so many issues that are still surrounding Uhuru. That is wondering, even Ruto, when he leaves presidency in 2030, well, if he leaves presidency in 2032, he's still going to be a very young person. And I think one of the things that is going to be of concern to him is who takes over from me? Or how do I control the person that has taken over from me? So I think Uhuru, in a sense, is just trying to round up the country, Kenya, and see what is it, who is encroaching.
It's like an elder man sitting in a row and then looking at the gate. These are my stuff.
But all in all, I am very frustrated with Uhuru Kenyatta. He's a man that he has. The other day we were talking about men that have never been to a petrol station. We were talking about men that have never worked, men that have never known anything, that a lot of us Kenyans are talking about. And look, Uhuru Kenyatta, I don't think has the benefit of telling us about unity. Because just like Joachim has always said, I don't know what he means by unity. Because right now here in the room, we have Joachim, who is a lawyer. We have another lawyer seated there. We have a Kikuyu that is editing out there. And we have a Kalenjin the other side who is cleaning. So we are all coexisting. And if you look at the streets, we are buying from each other's shops. If you look at matatus, we are all together.
You don't want to know who is seated next to you.
Yes. So Uhuru is claiming that we need unity, but it is not the unity of Kenyans. It is the unity of looters. People who can come together and steal from us. That is what Uhuru is actually talking about.
Just as Ochuka has said, that in most cases, the easiest concept and idea to sell is unity of the people. But you don't tell them really what are they uniting for, or what are they uniting against. You don't, and by talking about unity, it derails the people from talking about what really is threatening the unity that we have. Because if we are saying that we should always make sure that we have food, it means that our food stock is threatened. And therefore we have to come up with measures of creating more
food production.
So when we talk about always making sure that the country is united, united because our unity is threatened. And what is it that is threatening our unity? I think the most important thing for us to talk about is that what are the people thinking? What do they think they should get that they are not getting? What is it that is stopping them from getting what is entitled to them? Because it's important for you to know that my kids should be in a good school, but they are in a school that has no classrooms. Therefore, as a parent, you are asking yourself, why is it that the classrooms are not there? How it comes that important times, like for example, if an examination, there is need for us to distribute examination papers across the country. Some schools start their exams late. And when you ask why, it's because of road network. But on the day of the voting, ballot boxes get in those very same schools very early in the morning. So you wonder, if we had mechanisms of making sure that ballot boxes get into these schools on time, why don't we do the same during examination time? And therefore, the talk of unity is a good talk, but we have to dig deeper. As we've always said, most of the things we've been talking about are just symptoms. They are roots, they are causative agents. And what are these causative agents? So when I look at what happened yesterday, I see a team that represents change without change. When I look at William Ruto's team, I see a team that represents preservation of status quo. That the way things are, we are good the way we are. Your children are not going to school? Say thank you because we are not like South Sudan. You are not eating? Oh, you don't know the kind of country we live in. Look at Iran. At least we don't have missiles flying over our sky. You don't have a job, but at least you have peace. You see? That's what the team of Ruto is telling us. And the other team is telling us, no. Things are not right. But they are not telling us where did we go wrong? How do we go forward about it? I said here that most of the people, some of the people you find that you are saying, Chuka is a thief. It's a very bad thief, eh? But you are not really against him stealing. You are against how he steals.
No. Me stealing ahead of
the
rest.
See, you don't steal like that. So we have a problem with Ochuka stealing, but we don't have a problem with him being a thief. So they want to come in and steal in a manner that is not so
when
yes.
you want to steal somebody's chicken,
yes.
Wait for them to go to the market.
Yeah.
To the church.
Yeah, you don't just come and wewe unaiba.
I want to listen to Vashti. Vashti, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, what do you think about everything that is going on? What, as a Gen Z, how old are you, by the way?
I'm 24.
24 years old. What do you think about this country and where we are going? Are you one term, by the way, or you are two term? Or you are sitting on the fence?
I would like to remain non-partisan for today.
No. What do you mean non-partisan?
Vashti, are you going to vote for President Ruto in 2027?
No.
No.
Yes.
Are you going to vote for Sifuna in 2027? Are you going to vote for Kalonzo Musyoka in 2027?
I'm going to vote for Matiang'i.
You're going to vote for Matiang'i?
Yes.
Why do you like Matiang'i?
He's a good guy.
Okay. Handsome?
Si mbaya sana, anajaribu.
Okay, go ahead and tell us what you think about today's political temperature.
So, about yesterday, I think politicians are doing what politicians usually do.
Okay.
Gachagua was saying that people should stop insulting Uhuru. And he's the person who was insulting Uhuru just a few years ago. Okay. So it's very hypocritical and ironical that he says that. He reminds me, in December, we were in a meeting with Wamushomba, and he was praising Dr. Fred Matiang'i and saying, he's the guy for the job. And then just a few weeks after that, alikuwa asha change anasema, now Ruto is the guy for this job. He's the greatest person to ever live. And then now you wonder, which side are you on? So politicians are just doing what politicians would always do. And then on the matter of AFCON, I think it is also a political strategy on Ruto's part because whenever we have a football event, like the other time we had a Chan event, and people were very happy that we almost forgot about the 2024 protests. So when people are happy, it is easier waende wakuvotie because dopamine is flying around.
Okay.
Yeah, so lazima aeke watu hapo hivyo.
Yeah, but you didn't tell us why you're voting for Matiang'i though.
Matiang'i I'm saying Matiang'i has a good track record.
What has he done?
When he was the Minister for Education, I was in school, and he curbed exam irregularities. And I think going into 2027, 2028, we need a strong foundation as Kenya. We need stronger institutions as a country if we are to move forward. So that the things that Kina Sifuna always talk about, the rule of law, and those other things can come. So that everyone who wants to have opportunities in Kenya, have employment, lazima kukuwe na stronger institutions. And I think Dr. Fred Matiang'i is the person for that job. He can lay the foundations so that hii culture ya kusema, oh, lazima nikuwe na connection so that I can have something ishe. So that's why I think Dr. Matiang'i is good for the job.
Okay, and you think he's better than Sifuna?
I've not seen Sifuna do any executive job. I've seen Sifuna as a legislature.
Okay.
Yeah, and he has done his legislative job well.
Okay.
But I've seen Dr. Fred Matiang'i doing a good job in his executive position.
Okay.
So
you don't want to take risks?
Wacha tutaona ikifika 2020. There's a lot of time between now and 2027.
All right, thank you very much. We want to play a video. I want to play a video of Sabasaba and Raila saying Kibaki Tosha. I think that video is there, right? That's where that's the video that we're going to.
Yes.
I think let us play it.
Rescue.
Yeah. You are still looking for it. Okay. Is it there? So people of the internet, let us Mr. Joachim and Mr. Yes. Okay. Let's go ahead and listen. Yeah, Ochoka, why did you decide on this video? I don't understand why we are playing this video.
This video is very important because we are at the juncture that Moi had folded and swallowed everything. In other words, Jogo imekula kila kitu.
Okay.
And there's a lot of international donor pressure on Moi to democratize the country. It's so much that even the funding that is supposed to come to Kenya are a bit of a chokehold. The country is suffering from structural adjustment programs. Universities, parastatals are failing terribly. Civil servants who used to be very secure and safe in terms of their salary and even their job tenure are now beginning to suffer. People are suffering economically across the country. So Moi is in a very peculiar situation. He's wondering, if I reintroduce multiple voices of reasoning democratically, will my tenure as the president be in threat? Remember, this is somebody that has been used to tight grip and ironclad ruling, so much that any dissent, even if you imagine that the president is differing from you or with you in a certain manner, then you would be actually picked in communicado and held in communicado. You will be picked without any due process whatsoever. And this is a beautiful situation to reintroduce why and where we are coming from, and why we are having even this conversation. Because democracy has been lauded as the possibility of differing voices existing sanctifiedly at the same time. In other words, no matter how wrong Joachim is and how right I might think I am, we might be able to disagree and agree. And then at some point, there's a consensus that comes as a result. So Moi is in this situation, and there's a lot of young, firebrand lawyers, particularly people who are in universities, students who are young, the youth who are feeling disenfranchised from the economy, and they're starting to feel the pinch. And they're asking this old mzee, we need to start our time. Remember, this is also the biggest time when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, one of the biggest voices and icons of opposition in Kenya, is in his sunset years. He's frail, he's sicker. People are anticipating what is the next move if in the event that he dies. What is going to be the recalibration of Kenyan opposition politics after he is gone? So there's a lot of young firebrand lawyers around him, lawyers and leaders around him. There's Matiba, there's Charles Rubia, there's his own son, Raila Odinga, there's Kijana Wamalo, all these people under Ford Kenya. And so the reason why that video is important is we have to look, because one thing that many people have always ascertained is they think young people are too young to lead, that they don't have any voice, they're not politically mature enough. And yet when you're looking at 1992, 91, 92, 3, 4, all the way to 5, it is young people, the youth, who are coming up and saying that we need a better country, a better ruling. And therefore, that is one of the importance of that video. The second importance of that video is we are looking at some of those voices like James Orengo are still in the political limelight. Why has that been the case? Does that mean that we have failed at the political batoning or passing the baton from one generation to the other? Why is it that the people who are at the center of advocacy for better democracy and better economic development are not performing very well when we have given them that mantle to lead? These are not accusations. They are just questions to look to help us understand where we are coming from and where we are leading. And that's why I think that video was important.
Yeah, but I think you should also accuse Orengo without mincing words. I mean, Joachim as a historian, but let me take you back.
Yes.
Let us take us to the beginning, because context, I think, matters here. Kenya has been down this road before, as Chuka has said. KADU dissolved into KANU in 1964. We know that very well. Voluntarily, they said. KP was banned in 1969, forcibly. So, and by 1982, Kenya was officially a one-party state.
Yes.
Okay. We know how that chapter ended with Section 2A,
being
right?
repealed,
Donor pressure, what Chuka has talked about, reintroduction of multi-party politics, and eventually the 2002 Kibaki Tosha. And I think that is probably why we are also playing that video. So I think, and I want to go back to you, what Ruto is attempting now is a different method. But for me, the destination looks very familiar. He says he wants a party built on ideology, not ethnicity. He says the coalition model is unstable and prone to ethnic fragmentation. He says Kenya needs one strong political outfit to deliver development. But the question that I want to ask Joachim is to interrogate today is this about really ideology? Is Ruto about ideology, or is it about control?
Has he ever been
ideological? Because the UDA does not have an absolute majority on its own.
When you look at the president's language,
and
you look at where is Ruto coming from.
From
the university, William Ruto was an intern at KANU headquarters. So you need to understand how he thinks. What did he see at KANU headquarters that he admires to have today? When you look at the language of one big party built on ideology, then look at the language of the KANU honchos at that time. So you realize that it's the same language in two different time zones. But now, I want us to look at what really are we fighting for. And you've asked a question about Orengo, who was there at that time, and he's still here today, but he seems to have been disjointed by the circumstance of the day today. Because you look at the history of the country, what has been our struggles? At what time have we triumphed over these struggles? And every time you triumph over any struggle, you get into a new journey fighting for something else. You remember post-colonial period, the likes of Tom Mboya, they were fighting for independence of the country, for self-rule of the African people of the African descent. After you acquire independent self-rule, then you inherit other problems that you still have to continually fight for. You realize that now the space of democracy continues to be diminished by one big party muffling all the voices, and now it becomes one center of voice, and every other person is considered a renegade. That now becomes a democratic issue, that the people must be given a chance to speak their mind. That was the biggest issue as we come to repealing of Section 2A. We must have other sources of ideas that we can now sit on the table and disagree to agree. And that becomes the clamor for multi-party democracy. Remember, we have fought for independence. We have it. Now we are fighting to solve another problem, which is democracy. Then when they repeal Section 2A, the other journey begins. That now the constitution of the time does not serve our aspirations. We therefore have to come and make sure that we have a constitution that serves the democracy that we have. That people should therefore be given a chance to speak. And how do we now, because the biggest problem that has contributed to democracy being diminished is an imperial presidency. So we have to hive off some power from the presidency and invest it somewhere else. So that becomes the clamor for the new constitution. And the video you've played is people are saying, sisi tunataka katiba ibadilishwe. You see, it becomes a new journey. This journey is climaxed in 2010, where we have a promulgation of the new constitution, and the aspirations of the people who have fought from 1992 to 2010, that is their biggest win. So you remember at that time, the likes of Orengo were actually the big people of the day, the minds that contributed to making this new constitution. But now the people, the people who have been part of this journey, they do not realize that there is a new fight. That it is no longer about the democracy and social justice.
At least not alone.
No. It has to be accompanied by something else. That we fought for independence as a country, now we have it. We fought for our democracy, now we have it. But now the new fight is to maintain the space of democracy that we have and fight for something else. So what is it that is the biggest problem today among the Kenyan people? It is not the space to speak. We are on this podcast. We can speak about everything. It's now the power in your pocket to live the way you want. And that's the point of departure from the people who fought for this new constitution to the aspirations of the people today. The people today are not fighting for just unity. They are saying that the unity that we have, the peace we enjoy, we can use it to advance for new things. These new things should be things that enable us to live comfortably. And that informs the new resolve to fight for economic liberation.
Right.
But I doubt it if the Orengos of today realize that that has now become the new fight, the new problem to solve. That after you solve this economic problem, there will be other problems to be fought by other generations.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why was it so hard? Because ideally, democracy is at the center of the dignity of a human being. Yes. I believe so. So the dignity of a human being declares that a person has a right to health, to education, to food. Why was it so hard, or was it sort of like a huge burden to fight for democratic space alongside all these other things? Because I believe Akina Orengo, they were products of free university and all that.
Yes.
And therefore they knew what that meant significantly for their lives, because their lives were changed by just education alone.
Yes.
So why was it so hard to look at that whole axiom together, as opposed to just working on the democratic rights alone?
You remember that this fight of new democracy was led by activists, people in the law school.
Right.
There's a problem with everyone who is a lawyer. Very few of them actually think about other things. And there is the problem with education, mostly in Africa. It makes you a linear thinker. You only think on one straight line. And in the mind of any activist, lawyers also, it's about procedure. It's about the law, which section have been violated. To them, the problem is not how they accessed education. To them, the problem is, even with the education, we can't speak. So they are not looking at factors that enabled them to access education, even with the absence of freedom of speech. So once they attain free speech, they are like, no. We can now speak, but we can't even access the education that we had before this free speech.
Yes.
That now takes us a few steps back, that even as we were fighting for democracy, there's some things we left on the way, and we have to go back to pick them.
So this is happening in retrospect?
Yes, this is happening today. So today when you talk about unity and you end it there, it's an incomplete statement. What is threatening unity? You see, the attempt of the young people on June 25th on 2024 was, the finance bill was a trigger of long pent-up frustrations. And the young people were pressed and pushed by something, even to face bullets. That the proposition of the finance bill is of things that are coming to be corrosive to our economic environment. That even the opportunity to thrive is coming to shrink more.
Alongside better education.
Alongside better education. That even as we are educated, we have freedom to speak. We can barely afford to manage our families the way our parents, who are fairly undereducated
and oppressed
used to manage their life. So that informed the reason as to why the young people pressed on to try and shake the system so that power can cede ground.
Okay.
So in going forward, any political practitioner, the person in active political space, if they do not recognize that the fight is not just for democracy, is not just for social justice, but also for economic liberation of the people, they will have lost the plot. And that is what is the biggest problem with the current opposition and government.
As we join the conversation, allow me to chip in.
Yes.
Do you think that that's also that there's a tilting that is happening in our politics? Because previously, and this is a conversation that keeps on coming up, that our politics is still very much ethnic-based. And for people who say that, I tend to imagine that they are also still very much dwelling on the fact that the frontier of liberation, or the frontier of our politics, has also changed or moved along to be multifactorial. So that there's the democratic space. When a democratic space is infringed in a certain way, it produces a ripple effect.
Yes.
Because when somebody tightens, let's say your pay has been cut and chopped, and you realize that in itself is not a big mistake, because countries like Sweden have some of the highest tax brackets.
Yes.
But if that tax is not working, if that tax ends up in a loot, then another problem has been created where people do not have money to live a dignified life. Do you think that, in essence, our political space is tilting towards more objectivity and less about sentimentality
Yes. The reason why even slogans are not taking time, they come with a hype and they fade, is people, after excitement, they get back to thinking that what really are we looking for? After this slogan, what is our end goal?
Yeah.
What do we get out of it? What is the problem that we are solving after shouting these particular wordings?
Yeah.
And that has become a very big task for the current politician.
Finally.
Yeah.
What is the ideal party going forward for Kenya? The ideal party that reflects the current needs, democratic and economic needs for this country? Because if the politics frontier has changed,
yes,
and it is moving towards objective, that yes, we will say, oh, Tawe, we will say, tunataka power, but at the end of the day, you go back to your house and realize that your child was sent back for school fees. You realize that your loved one is having chemotherapy in the hospital. And the things that touch on every other Kenyan across the country is affecting you.
Yes.
What is the ideal party, and how does that connect to what we are having today, where we are seeing...
The party as in a political party?
Yes, a political party.
There is a statement in Swahili, there's kila mwamba ngoma uvuta kwake.
Okay.
So let me try
to talk about fist agenda.
No, it's not the fist agenda. Actually, I'll just talk about the issues we are raising.
Okay.
And we are not doing ambulance chasing.
Yeah.
Because if my party leader was an ambulance chaser, he would be in Nyandarua yesterday.
Okay.
And he will just be another part of the people who are seen there. But the ideal party that, even as we call ourselves, Safina Pesa, the Pesa is not literally money. It's an acronym of Party of Economic and Social Adjustment.
Okay.
That it's not just the economy, even the social justice of the country matters a lot. But it is incomplete if it's not accompanied by the ability of the people to thrive. Even as my party leader started talking about the odious debt, initially it looked like a far-fetched concept that will not resonate with the people. But as time goes, even the government itself agrees that we have a problem of debt.
Yeah.
And therefore, going forward, I think we are the party that attempts to talk about the issues that have to be solved.
Yeah, exactly. I think I have a lot to say about the issue of party, because I think when Ochoka is talking about party, I don't know whether, but I have a feeling that is gravitating toward what is happening perhaps in the Western countries. So, for example, we have the Republicans that have never been swallowed by anybody. We have the Democratic Party, the Democrats, something that has always been there. And then the only thing that is always there about, is the independence. I think that as our democracy mature, it's taking a lot of time to mature, but I think something is finally happening. Yesterday I was in a taxi, and this gentleman was talking about, he's a Luo, and he was telling me that he's going to be voting for Sifuna. I interrogated him because it was a long journey, about 45-minute journey, and I asked him, what exactly are you finding in Sifuna? But he did not give me an answer. And he kept telling me that, I'm trying to look. I'm trying to look left, I'm trying to look right. Where should I go? And I feel like Kenyans at the moment, many of them are at a crossroad.
Right.
Even if you hear Vash talking about,
you
you push the question of who she's going to vote for, and it is only after a lot of pressure that she actually
seems to be coming. It's not fully yet.
She lands on Matiang'i.
Right.
But there is a lot of checking and checking. For example, if you go to Luo Nyanza right now, this has been said that Raila was a cloud in Luo Nyanza.
Yes.
And with that cloud, we were always looking for what is going to help us. And I think there has been a lot of clamor that should Raila Odinga take the presidency, then Luos will begin to move from one point to the other. And a lot of people have always said, Diambo has said it several times, that the only reason why also Luos were coming out to vote, and the reason why Luos have voted for people of no consequence, people like Orengo, people like Gladys Wanga, people like everyone, every governor, in Luo. But they have kept saying, but our biggest deal is Raila to take over the presidency. So all these people, there is something in Luoland called Teruburu. Teruburu, I don't know how translate it. How does it loosely translate for the people of the internet? Teruburu is a cultural thing where when somebody dies, then they will mobilize the animals. and probably go to the lake
homestead and
come back. Okay, and so
to pick a new leader.
Yes. So what used to happen is that we are in the process of escorting, and anybody that hangs on the coat of our man will always have benefits.
Yes.
So most of the people in Luoland would be on the coat of Raila, and even you remember in Luoland, Orengo would not campaign.
Yes.
At all.
Okay. At all.
During Mwanga,
he would not even have flyers. He would be with Raila everywhere around the country, except the place where he's looking for votes. And he will still win with 19% of the votes. Okay? But now, I think every cloud has a silver lining. So that cloud of Nyanza, when it came to an abrupt end, whereby we no longer have Raila trying to look for presidency. Now suddenly everybody is thinking, okay, now
I said that Baba's death, you see, when Jesus died, the curtain that was preventing
was torn into two.
Yes, was torn. And therefore you didn't need a priest to pray for you.
Yes.
You could go to the altar yourself.
Yes.
So I think that curtain was ruptured in Luo Nyanza. And people are taking themselves on the political altar on their own. And they are saying, what is it that we have not been saying? And I think, according to me, it was a mistake for my friend Orengo to ask for governor. And it's a mistake for every other person who does a good job as a legislator and thinks that he can be an executive, he can do well in executive power. So you see, someone like Oparanya never used to speak in parliament. He was not a noisy member of parliament, but he did fairly well in Kakamega. I'm not saying that every member of parliament who is quiet can be a governor.
Can be a good governor, yeah.
But but you remember Oparanya, he was Minister of Planning.
Yeah.
So during Kibaki, and Kibaki had so many weaknesses, but he had some sense of understanding your intellectual capacity to do certain jobs. So people who are appointed under Kibaki had some substance. And that's why Kakamega is the way it is today. Even when you live in Kakamega town, it gives you a semblance of city life.
Yes.
But all these people, that's why I'm looking around, members of parliament and senators who want to go for governor. I'm looking at them and they're like, wait, do you know where you are going? Because look at Mutula Kilonzo Jr. As senator.
You did really good.
He did very well. You look at Sakaja. He was a super senator. People were like, I remember one of the time he was saying that why is the government against its own people? And people looked at Sakaja and they were like, I think he can do a good job. But there is A, asking questions, and B, having the wherewithal to answer the questions.
Exactly.
Because being a governor is, we gave you 1.8 billion. Tell us about it.
So what I think has happened even in Luoland right now is that suddenly people are waking up and are asking very hard questions. That going forward, suddenly we are not Teruburu anymore. The only thing that we are looking for is how are you going to help us with the problems that we are having? Where are we going to go? So let's go to the Kenya Kwanza, all right?
Yes.
Because it is important to look at. So Kenya Kwanza Alliance was formally established in the period leading to the 2022 elections, right? Originally founded on a tri-party agreement between the UDA, ANC, and Ford Kenya, correct? The coalition quickly expanded to 12 constituent parties by April of 2022. The coalition's foundational strategy was the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, okay, which sought to mobilize the hustler nation, the vast population of informal workers and small-scale traders, against Uhuru Kenyatta, the established political dynasty and probably that of Raila Odinga. Okay, so following the 2022 victory, the UDA leadership, particularly Fas Malala, began to articulate a vision for the total consolidation of these parties. Okay, the rationale provided by President Ruto and his allies is centered on the belief that the current, coalition of parties model is inherently unstable. Okay, unstable and prone to ethnic fragmentation. So there is a fear there. Okay, so we have let's talk about the case study of Amani National Congress. The most significant victory for the pro-merger movement was the voluntary dissolution of the Amani National Congress, led by your fellow Bukusu, no? Izaluguli, Mr. Musalia Mudavadi. Okay? He resolved to merge with UDA, a move Mudavadi described as a calculated step to ensure his party's continued relevance and influence in national politics. Mudavadi has frequently revisited his earthquake speech in January 2022, framing the merger as the logical conclusion of a strategy to disrupt the political landscape. I think we have that video, correct? Let us play that video and hear your fellow lawyer man talk very articulately. It's interesting that your lawyer people really know how to talk. Lawyers are have got the gift of gab.
We are good speakers.
Is it the Bukusu or which one? All lawyers?
Across the lawyer.
Across the lawyer nation. Let's play that.
We want is victory for the team. And the team leader is President William Ruto. Kwa hivyo nauliza, je, mabibi na mabwana wa ANC ambao kumoko hapa kwa Kenya Kwanza, ninyi mnaona ama mnaona tufate hii barabara ya maja, tushikane kabisa, tuwe kitu kimoja? Mnatakaje? 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 Mshasema? Mshaamua? Sasa yale tabaki ni ile mechanics ya kisheria, si ndio? Lakini tumeamua kwamba tunasonga mbele, tuungane na Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
A stronger party will help us deal with the challenge of ethnicity. Will create a bigger, united, more representative formation that brings the aspirations of more Kenyans into an organization that will help us drive Kenya into the future. So, you people have made the same way you made the right decision in the handshake, in the earthquake in Bomas, is the same way you are making this decision again. Ningesema, najua when Musalia made the decision to work with us, and when ANC made the decision to work with UDA.
So that is happening. If you remember, that is happening on the June 19th, 2024. State House meeting confirms intent to merge. Special National Delegates Congress. I believe this is the ANC Delegates Congress, February 7th, 2025. ANC delegates formally resolved to dissolve the party. Official Gazette notice comes on the March 7th, 2025. Registrar of Political Parties confirm ANC's dissolution. Integration of leadership, March 2025. ANC officials like Issa Timami and Kelvin Lunani join UDA NEC. Now, proponents of this merger, such as Issa Timami, the then NC party leader, argued that the overriding objective of any political party, Mr. Joachim and Mr. Ochuka, is to win and form a government. In this view, the merger was not a surrender of identity, but, as he says, a strategic consolidation to ensure that the bottom-up agenda could be delivered through a stronger party and a stronger Kenya. What do you think, Mr. Ochuka? Do you think that at that point, Mudavadi should have dissolved his party? And I'm going to ask my fellow Bukusu whether, and he's going to give me a little bit of the psyche behind the man Mudavadi. He's a man that I hardly understand very well. I don't know what he stands for. but probably uko
he benefits for not standing for anything.
But let's hear from
That's why he can just wake up and say, we are folding the party.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Chonga. Then I will give time for Mr.
From what I'm getting from the merger of ANC and UDA, is this is a man that had not worked so much for this political machinery that you're surrendering. And therefore, in essence, what Joaquim has mentioned is coming true. For example, Raila, for him to have gone to a handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta for the handshake, and then in 2022 with Ruto, there were serious political consequences.
Yeah, but somebody is saying there is no sound. We are not hearing anything.
Yeah, naishi affordable house.
Iko sawa.
There is,
Because wacha kutusi watu bwana.
Unajua ukiishi affordable housing.
Affordable housing hakuna internet?
Sasa inakuwaje kwa affordable housing?
Hii ya Ruto.
Hakuna. That's why asikii. Wewe ama kwa affordable.
Enda kwa nyumba yako ya village.
So in essence, Raila had to make very serious considerations, not just for his own party, but also for the constituents that he represented, their values or their interests. And therefore, somebody like ANC, you can look at the composition of ANC legislators, from MCA to MPs to senators to governors, and you find that the composition is quite very small. And so in essence, ANC was sort of like a lone ranger party that had also pocketed its constituent or its legislators. And so it was very easy to whip these members, to whip ANC members, rather than the consensus or the kind of political maneuvering that Raila had to go through for him to even have a handshake or have the NADCO report that they are representing to the people. And even after that, people were still asking him questions. Have you betrayed us? You see, those questions that Mr. Mudavadi was not being asked. He was not being asked, have you betrayed us? Because when there's a betrayal, you have to come from a political philosophy. You have to come from a political consequence. And Mudavadi did not have that. And therefore, I think for him, the merger was more of Ruto was doing for him a favor in essence, because he is bringing, because most of us tend to imagine that when somebody is merging, when two parties are merging, then there is a comparative strategic advantage that they are bringing to the table. And in this case, you're seeing that ANC is not delivering so much for UDA. And people were asking the same question that they were asking Wetangula. If you only have one senator and not so many MPs, then why is it that when you're coming to our party, then you want a major stakeholding? So I think that in essence, that was a bigger political survival maneuver for Mudavadi, as opposed to if he missed that chance, then later on when other parties have been invited to the table, then you have very difficult chances of getting back to a strategic position. Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your fellow lawyer man, Mr. Mudavadi. What does he stand for?
Nothing. He stands for survival. And it's a good thing to stand for. Surviving is winning. So when a party fragments and ends, what is usually the sense of loss among its supporters and its officials? Some parties, when they die, the only sense of loss is the ticket you have got out of that party. And maybe the monetary value you are getting from the party. But there's nothing about we were fighting for this, but now we can't. And that is a Money National Congress. Because there is no loss of direction among its members. They can look for other parties and get tickets and still continue with life. But ODM is different. ODM is different in a way that we have always sung this song. Sayuki sema ODM ishe, some people will be like, hapana. Alafu sasa. That's why people even have a problem with it. So they are saying, this is not the party that we recognize anymore.
Even the people who are not supporters of ODM.
Yes. There are some people who have never been in ODM, but they recognize it with something. So they are like, "Ay, bwana." It's like owning a hotel that prepares very nice meals. Then all of a sudden, they can't. So you are not the owner. Maybe you just ate there once, but you ask questions. Sorry. So, but the biggest issue here, the talk of folding parties, is to elongate the fight that should be over by now. Now we get into questions that we were in 1992. Or we have to be dragged back to 1966 when they are saying now KP should be dissolved or should be banned. So it curtails us from now fighting for what really belongs to us, because the ultimate liberty anywhere is you as Jagero to be able to afford life without really going through a lot of struggle. So the talk of folding parties is an elongation of a conversation that should not be there today. So instead of you looking at ways of making the country food secure, you're talking about ending ethnicity by building one big party. And that statement alone means that we will build one big party and we will stop Jagero from forming a party because it will be ethnic. So wewe Jagero, hii chama yako
chama ya kinyumbani,
ni chama ya nyumbani. Na hiyo ni lugha ambayo Ruto amekuwa nayo sana. Hata akiongelea ODM, akiongelea Ford Kenya. There's a time alisema ati sasa unajua ile parliamentary group meeting ya Ford Kenya. Mnaweza ongea tu Kibukusu. Kwa sababu wewe ni wa Tongareni. Wewe ni wa Webuye West. Huyu mwingine ni wa Kandui. Bukusu kabisa. Huyu mwingine. So in the next meeting of the party, mnaongea tu Kibukusu. Nyinyi wote. So that is what he used to say.
And that shouldn't be that should be a problem of people talking in Kibukusu.
I don't think that's one of our problems. The problem is, what does that party stand for? The problem is that party contributing to the conversation that should be held by the people? Whether they speak in Mejikenda or they speak in Doluo.
Yeah, is that party working for them?
Yes.
If it is working for them, then fine. There shouldn't be a
fine.
problem.
So don't come here with the talk of we want to build one big party. No, Bwana. That's not one of our problems. Let us talk about building one big party when we can take all our children to school.
Okay.
I have an interesting take.
Okay. Yes.
I'm going to read it so that at least Japan held its first post-war election in 1946. The Liberal Democratic Party has governed with brief interruptions ever since. Now, for nearly 4 decades, Japanese elections have been competitive but predictable in outcome. I'll skip some parts. LDP built a political machine that delivered material benefits to rural constituencies through agricultural subsidies, public works, spending, and bureaucratic patronage. Urban voters often preferred opposition parties, but electoral system overrepresented rural districts, so the LDP could lose the popular vote and still command a parliamentary majority. Now, Japanese elections functioned as hegemonic competitions where the outcome was known in advance, but the process was genuinely contested. Voters had real choices. Opposition parties could grow and civil society could mobilize, but the structure ensured that competition did not threaten incumbency. I don't know what your views are, gentlemen, because Ruto is saying that if they fold parties and then they have this one big hegemony, then they might be able to deliver far better outcomes as opposed to if the country was fragmented.
What is the definition of the outcomes?
Outcomes is like, for example, what Japan did with LDP. You see, in rural districts, people were able to identify that the incumbency is able to deliver on agricultural policy, which is important to them.
Okay.
They're able to deliver on the promises that they have created in their manifesto when they're campaigning.
Okay.
And therefore, they're seeing that there is no need to fall back on an opposition that they do not know how it operates. In other words, the political machinery of the incumbency is delivering that which is serving them.
The people.
But then the question is that you could ask Ruto is, how is the fact that Wetangula is on the other side with his Ford Kenya and Mutua is on the other side with his own outfit? How is that hindering the things that he's supposed to do with the 3.2 trillion that we give him?
No, he is talking about money. He's talking about ethnicity, an imaginary problem. A problem that is usually created by the same politicians, sell it to get votes.
But I want to understand Ochuka properly.
Yes.
Because Ochuka is saying that with this singularity that Ruto is looking for, then the noise will die down, and what will be in front of them are the problems of the people of Kenya.
The pipeline of delivery.
Yes, that they will now deal with. But the question I am asking you is, with the UDA on the other side, with ODM on the other side, or let's just even not talk about ODM, let's talk about the parties that are within this coalition. Is he saying that these people are tagging on his code?
Yes.
And telling him this and that. And what are those?
Yes.
What are they doing?
Ideally, in essence, Ruto knows that the function of these smaller parties, because they are small, in terms of even composition of like legislators, the function of this party is more ceremonial. There is a picture it is painting over Kenya when they associate with the UDA, that I can look at UDA and I can look at Kenya Kwanza and see that it represents Western. I can look at Kenya Kwanza and see that the Lamu governor is part of Kenya Kwanza. I can look at it and see that former Machakos governor is part of the outfit. But in essence, there's no real value for these parties to exist on either side, whether they're fragmented.
So a national outlook for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
A national outlook for sure.
Yes.
For optics.
Yes.
And what do you think about that?
Because he has not demonstrated that when Wetangula has his Ford Kenya and these other guys have their own parties, that when they are separate on their own, that they are hindering his deliverables.
Do you think so?
No, he does not.
I want to use his own words.
Yes.
You see, when I'm talking about Ruto, I don't hit him with any other person's words. His own.
Okay.
When he was talking against the BBI, the unity of Jubilee and ODM, how did he describe it? A mongrel. But now we have opposition in government and government in opposition.
The mongrel is half an animal and man.
Yes. So people cannot know what really is government or opposition.
Is he not achieving the same thing? Or
he has achieved the same thing. So he was saying, the reason why we have this mongrel is because of unity. And he was on a radio station somewhere. And he actually used this quote.
He quoted the air.
Yes, at unity. That who told you that when we have ODM and the Jubilee, we are not united? That's his exact words.
National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, leader of Ford Kenya, has become the primary symbol of resistance within the coalition. Despite his senior role in government, Wetangula has consistently dismissed calls for the dissolution of affiliate parties. His opposition is rooted in the belief that Ford Kenya's historical identity and its base in Western Kenya are non-negotiable. Right? We have something that we're going to play on him saying something to that effect. Let's have a look at that. Ama, do you have it, my brother? Yes, go ahead.
Kenya is to sit and think together. Disruptions will not help. Changamoto iliyoko ni kusaidia mkulima. Hata juzi hao wabunge wetu wameniambia huyu mzee ameingia Mumias, ameanza kuonekana kama anaweza kufanya kazi. Ile kitu anataka is the support of the government. Na hiyo message imepelekea rais.
Tuungane sisi wote irrespective of our party affiliations, tuongee kwa sauti moja, and that is the only way we are going to be respected in the Republic of Kenya. Na nashukuru sana spika wetu kwa kutuleta pamoja, and that is the way to go. Tukitembea pamoja kama viongozi wa Western vile viongozi wote wameongea hapa siku ya leo, pale mbele watu wote hapa nchini watapatia heshima kama watu wa Western because you are speaking.
Okay, so that is that. Alfred Mutua Maendeleo Chapchap has stated that he will not fold his party, emphasizing that MCCP is an independent entity that will continue to grow. Mwangi Kiunjuri, the Service Party, has been on a sharp critique of what he calls sibling rivalry and protection of territory within the coalition. He has argued that common sense dictates that when you are in a coalition, you must work as a team, but that this should not involve swallowing up the smaller partners. Amason Kingi, Pamoja Africa Alliance, position has been more fluid. While PAA initially signed a coalition agreement with Kenya Kwanza to escape being sidelined in Azimio, it has faced internal pressure to merge. More recent reports indicate that while the party may not contest separately in 2027, it still remains its institutional identity as a united political vehicle. So we have UDA, which is a proponent of merger, talking about national unity, ideology-driven politics. We have ANC, who was swallowed to avoid political wilderness and ensure relevance. We have Ford Kenya, who is opposed protection of regional base and historical identity. MCCP opposed maintaining independence and bargaining power. TSP opposed preventing swallowing up, avoiding ladders to power trope. And we have PAA aligned, staying in government while maintaining regional voice.
That's for Kingi.
Yeah, so those are the issues that are happening now. I wonder, Mr. Joachim, what does Ruto do? Because Ruto always gets his way.
Ruto will try to even drive to their homes at night and persuade them to fall the parties. He can do that, actually.
The way you used to take chai with Wamunyoro. Ni wewe.
How did Mutua
cross over
from Azimio to the other side? Go and ask him, Mutua. Wewe unaendesha gari unasukia mtu ako nyuma anakupigia honi. Pip pip. Naweka kando tuongee bwana. Wewe achana na mambo ya tinga.
Mambo ya bitina.
No, namwambia mimi tinga mimi namjua. Hana shida. Mimi tutapanga hii maneno wewe kuja. The following day Mutua jumped. But the problem is this. My problem. This is the same person who is saying Kenya will be better in 20 years. What we have started today, we will make sure that by 20 years, by God's grace, if we are still alive, we must see Kenya develop. You see, that's a very dangerous statement. There is a statement Nani said, Museveni said when he came to power, one of his first media appearances, he said that Ugandans should forget about alternative arrangement.
This is it.
You see,
he was still actually in army fatigue.
Yes. And he was saying the people of Uganda, there will be no alternative arrangement. What he was simply saying was that he was going to be a president for a very long time. And people didn't understand. William Ruto is saying, in 20 years, what we have started must now develop the country. He's saying, I will still be the one to be there in 20 years. But his problem is one. Kenya has everyone wants to get the chance President Ruto has today. So it's not that they love democracy, but they also want to be president. Sasa mtu anashangaa, mimi Wetangula niko 60. Huyu mtu akikaa 20 years nitakuwa 80. Will I ever be president? That's the problem that we are going to have. Otherwise, this is a person who wants a big party and a long stay in power.
So that's the bigger ultimate picture.
Yes. A big party with a long stay in power. Party too.
Mr. Jimombati is saying a singular party, we will be in a dictatorship and Ruto just pass anything in parliament. Okay, absolutely saying, he's talking to somebody else, so I don't need, it's just a reply. let's say, look at the current political parties, majority of them do not have national appeal. I would actually encourage parties to merge to create stronger political parties to fight tribalism. Do you think that we have an issue with tribalism?
Tribalism is not an issue. It's not. It's not our problem.
Yeah. Mr. Absolutely is saying Ruto has been saying the most amazing gibberish lately. Politicians and diapers must be changed, are like diapers and must be changed very often. Somebody saying, Mr. Adam is saying, I think Honorable Mudavadi brought a special face, the trusted, honest face that gave UDA some level of trust when ANC joined KK in 2022. He gave it a new facelift.
That I agree.
That's true.
Yes.
UDA was looking like a den of thieves.
It was a den of thieves.
Yeah.
Geoffrey saying, Jagero, why do you like listening to the shenanigans of this SG from Safina? Is Geoffrey saying, absolutely.
Si alete zake.
Wewe umekanyaga wapi mechu?
Umekanyaga wapi bwana?
Huyu alete shenanigans zake. Yes.
Yeah. Abukusu, who voted for Ruto because he hated Raila, and ODM doesn't recognize ODM just because ODM supports what he voted for. Do you understand that?
So he thinks I voted for Ruto.
Who?
That guy who says that Abukusu who voted for Ruto because he hated Raila.
Yeah.
So he thinks I actually voted for Ruto. He's very wrong.
Yeah.
I have never and I will never. See, he wants to vote for Ruto because he hates Gachagua. So what's the problem with that? What's the difference?
Ruto should be the last person talking about tribalism. Look at his appointment. The head of Parastatal and permanent secretaries, no regional balance. All boards are headed by his people.
50% of the appointment of the people who are going to be justice in the Supreme Court. 50% of the appointment is Kalenjin.
Who are they?
Katwa Kigen. Wengine wawili, because there are 6.
Wasn't Keegan his lawyer sometime back?
Yeah, he was his lawyer. Akatwa Kigen was appointed to be the Court of Appeal judge. In less than 2 months, when he has not presided over any case in the Court of Appeal, he's now been shortlisted to be the justice on the Supreme Court. So President Ruto is thinking that when he does shenanigans around elections, we will go to Supreme Court. No. He's very wrong. Hakuna Supreme Court tunaenda. Tunamalizania tu hapa kwa barabara. Atuue ama ende. Mambo ni mbili.
There's Joseph Kipchumba.
Hakuna mambo ya Supreme Court.
Pana bwana. Unaenda kusikiza Katwa Kigen akuambie tena fool's errand vile tuliambiwa 2022.
Hot air. I want to ask Vash. Vash, what do you think about all these things as we come to
But he was reading something.
He was reading something?
Yes.
Ochoka, you were reading something.
Yes.
But maybe allow Vash to say something and then you can read. What do you think, Vash? Is your mic on?
Yeah, my mic is on.
Yeah.
My thoughts on this is Ruto right now reminds me of Charles Njonjo, 1982, when a one-party state was being introduced in Kenya. He stood before parliament and said that our neighboring countries have been so unstable for a very long time, but Kenya has maintained peace in all this time, even though we have been having elections every now and then. And in order to maintain this peace that we are having, we have to ensure that the shenanigans of multi-party democracy and those other things should not come and hinder our peace. So he proposes that we should have a one party as a country. And this is the thing that Ruto is also saying at this particular time. So in short, he just wants to be a dictator, according to me. And something else that Joachim and Omondi actually asked, if as a country we are being more objective and we are moving towards issue-based politics. I think not. Just because I graduated last year and I've been in the university, and if you have been following university politics, you know they are very tribal. Saizi kumekuwa na season of politics in universities. And if you go and check...
Allow me to ask you a question.
Yes.
Many people are saying that Gen Zs are not tribal. Are you admitting that Gen Zs will ultimately fall back on the tribal politics?
I'm just telling you the the reality kwa ground. educated people who are assumed to be educated, they are very tribal.
Okay.
In universities. So that actually shows
when you say sorry Vash, when you say that they are tribal at the university, you mean that people that are 20 years old are going into a corner as Kikuyus and talking amongst themselves how we can actually clinch this position, the same to Luos and the same to Luyas.
Yes, you cannot win if you do not have a tribal lining in university.
See, I tend to think that politics in the university is a show that is controlled by people who are not in the university.
Oftentimes, yes.
Because if you are running as a Secretary General of the Student Council of the UON and you have to spend 400,000, I don't think as a student you can raise that money. But if the condition that you are given money is to set up an agenda of the Luya unity within the university, then you have to do it. So even politics at the university level is a replica of what is happening currently at the national level.
And so
because the puppeteers are the occupants of politics on the national front. So you don't expect a difference there.
So we would be dishonest to say that it is educated politics.
I do not think that really fully exhibits what the fabric of the nation is, because there are some actions that are happening out here that shows some level of optimism that people are now thinking on a different level. I want you to imagine Gikomba being demolished in 2017. The response will be so bad. It will be so ethnic. It will be, the noise will be so much that Kikuyus are being targeted. But the former deputy president tried that card. It fell flat on the surface. That people are looking past tribal sentiments. But no. Okay, we agree. But look, Kikomba serves how many people? It's a collection of Kenyans. Even some Tanzanians have stalls there. So you can't actually say Kikuyus are the ones being targeted. Even the same Kikuyus are like, no, don't say it like that. You are making us look like we are enemies to these other people.
Yeah.
Because wewe umekuwa na stall, unauza kote hapa. Viatu. Alafu kuna mutiso mwingine na viatu zake hapa. Kuna Muganda pale, anauza chapo. Kuna Mluya na zake hapa. Alafu hiyo soko
Muganda anauza Rolex si chapo.
Rolex nini?
Sumocha.
No.
Alafu hiyo soko ikibomolewa, you want to come and say hapana. Ni Waluya wamebomolewa soko.
So, for me, this is what I think about tribalism. It is something that has captured our psyche for a very long time.
Yes.
And right now, even if you look at the Luo people right now, you'll find, and they come to these to some studios around here.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
They come to some studios around here, and there is that leaning towards President Ruto and Totam. Okay, and then you have people like Kongoya who are very opposed.
Yes.
To the Tota movement. So it's a capture. It's a capture, just a minute. It's a capture, but now I think a lot of people are trying to remove themselves from that capture.
It's a tussle now.
It's a tussle. A lot of people, because you realize that even most of the Kikuyu Gen Zs tend towards Wamunyoro. But there are many of them who are saying, no.
This guy is a crass character.
That route is a bit dark for us.
Yes.
You know?
We are okay saying one time, but you being an alternative.
Not it.
So you'll find, and even if you look at Sifuna right now, you'll find almost Kenyans from all walks of life tending towards him.
Yes.
The same to Matiang'i. You see now, this girl is supposed to be a lawyer, Vash. But
she's saying Matiang'i. She's not saying Omutata, because if
the alternative would have been Momtata, yes.
She would just have looked around her and said,
And then another thing also that is very important, that even with Sifuna, even with all these other newer progressive voices and political leadership, they are still able to audit them and ask them tough questions.
Yes.
I think that's a good direction that we are taking.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we are not just taking that, okay, you are now one term, and therefore you're opposed to Ruto.
No,
therefore
we
we'll just take your word.
Even those Kenya young people are saying, okay, Sifuna, we are okay. We agree. One term is good, but
and the
please,
constitution is really important.
Yeah,
but now
please,
tell us.
what are we going to do?
Right.
Us, not them. You see, I saw Senator Cherargei having a very hard time facing a Gen Z, asking him questions. Was it yesterday or the day after? It was yesterday. I don't know where he was found. Akaulizwa, wewe senator, tunataka ujibu sisi swali moja tu. You were in parliament wakati Bob Njagi na Jack Oyo. Is it Jack Oyo?
Jack Oyo. Yes. The duo, the dynamic duo.
Yes.
That were arrested by the Ugandan military.
Yes, because Cherargei said if he was Museveni, he would have killed them. So, the Gen Z was prevailing upon Cherargei to explain further. Did you really mean you are actually going to kill these activists? He stammered a lot. Did you really listen? We have the video.
They are
play for you. Hey, you see, our politicians are not used to that. Wanataka mkimwona useme, mkubwa, tuko wachache.
Beyond reproach.
Tuko wachache.
Tuko tu wachache. Hapo you will have...
It's a full manifesto.
It's a full manifesto.
That's a full manifesto.
Yes.
Another. Mko wangapi? Nani mkubwa wenu hapa? That's very nice for them.
Anapita haraka.
Leo mnasema bosi. But mkianza kumuuliza bosi, umekuwa senate, tumekusikia ukisema pesa isiende kwa county. What really did you mean? Now that becomes difficult.
Yeah.
So I have optimism that as we go forward, you see, at some point, when Kenyans decided that wazungu wanafaa waende, I am sure kuna wakenya wengine walisema, hapana. Wewe unapigana na mzungu ako na bunduki.
Ukiona uko hiyo mashini wewe unaweza operate.
Mtu anafinya kitu hivi unakufa. But wengine walisema liwe liwalo lazima
aende afinyie huko.
Yes, akafinyie huko. And they achieved it. So when we say tribalism will end, some people might think
it really, tribalism really needs to end. Because without it, we begin to see clearly.
Are we experiencing withdrawal symptoms? Because I mean, tribalism has been a drug, like you've said.
It's been but it's been really fed to us in very huge doses. Hapo awali.
Yes, all you needed to say at some point in Nyanza is that sasa hawa Wakikuyu wamekuja sana. Wao ndo wanaibia sisi kura, wao ndio wezi wameharibu nchi.
Yeah.
And every Luo will be like, nani ukweli, hata Luya. Alafu what you say in Kikuyu
is the inversion of that.
Hawa Wajaluo hawa. Wataharibu mali yetu.
How do they call the uncircumcised?
Kehe. You see, you could say, wani Kehe.
Yes.
And everyone would listen. Sai end of seme Kehe. They will be like,
so slowly by slowly, we are getting to understand the fact that we are all in the same boat.
Yes.
If this boat capsizes, we are all going to
and I want to send you somewhere. Tell your brothers. And I know
which
that
one?
And I know that what they are doing could be very lucrative for now. As a Luo who can speak fluent English to appear on a podcast or a media station and invoke and support the government by saying that some tribe somewhere is wrong. I have looked around all media stations and I have seen opponents of this government who have big
opponents or proponents.
Proponents or
proponents. I mean, proponents.
Yeah.
Who are walking around every media house. I think they are getting a good coin out of it, but they are doing zero work because we are past where they are. This is not the time you come and tell me that Mumias failed because of a Kikuyu. This is not the time you come and tell me that we do not have good schools in Kandui constituency because indeed Nyoro didn't bring money. You do not come and tell me that Rongo Primary School has no gate because the member of parliament for Kikuyu constituency ate all the money. We have a better understanding that how comes we produce the most eloquent members of parliament, but we get zero in returns, vitu kidogo kidogo. Hawa wengine wanapigia wa Masukuru, wa Matinga, wa Mudhanga.
You see, Mr. Joachim.
Yes.
There are two issues that I think we are prosecuting in Kenya today.
Yes.
And some of us, some leaders, are exploiting it in a very different way. In this country, we have historical injustices. And some of them are at the footstep of a particular tribe.
Right.
We can talk about Wagala massacre. We know where it happened. We can talk about the killing of 1969 in Kisumu. We know what happened. We can talk about so many things. We can talk about the death of J.M. Kariuki.
Yes.
We know what happened. We can talk about the acid on the face of Robert Ouko. We know how that happened. We can talk about 1969, the killing of Tom Mboya. We know how that happened. So there are those injustices that have happened. There are parts of this country that have lacked employment because of the governments of the day that were there. The issue is that we are not able to separate these two things. So we have the elite, the ruling people that did certain injustices. Okay? And then we have decided that a man and a farmer from Kiambu is supposed to be bundled together with that injustice.
No.
And say that the man who has always been in coffee plantation,
Yes.
from
Who
his
also had the story.
Yes. Is being told that, look, you did for us this, and we need to talk about it. All right? We need to talk about those things, but I think it has been politicized. Just a minute.
Before you finish, I want to clarify a very emotive topic that led to deaths in Luo Nyanza. And these deaths brought a very huge wedge between the two communities of Kikuyu and Luo. During the funeral of Tom Mboya, the only Kikuyu who attended that funeral was J.M. Kariuki. The only one. Now, how did Tom Mboya die? If he was assassinated by government, who was the government working for? Because before they assassinated Tom Mboya, they started by sidelining Jaramogi. And whose brains did the government use to send Jaramogi out of government?
It was Tom Mboya.
It was two guys who were very sharp Luo young people. Michael Clement Agwing Skothek and Tom. So if we have to actually talk about this issue, we should also accept to take the blame. That we also contributed to this problem.
Yeah.
And I remember in first Limuru conference, when they had chosen the regional chairman for Kanu, and Jaramogi had been denied any. Before he left, he told Tom, in Doluo, I have forgotten the words, but he said, munadhani hawa watu watawacha mukule, hamutakula hata kidogo.
Yeah. So, anyway, what you are talking about is emphasizing my point.
Yes.
That there are particular things that have happened. I was told in the village that, and it is a story that used to be told in the village, that if you are going to shake a Kikuyu's hand, then you must count your fingers after you have withdrawn.
So if you still have 5. Oh my God.
You see, that is something that lives with you.
Yes.
So even growing up in Luo Nyanza, when you hear the name Wanjiku, Mudhoni, they were very fiction kind of names. You wouldn't look at them as people that have got veins that flow with blood. You see? But then when your eyes begin to open, all right? So, for example, you come to Nairobi, and I meet Njenga,
yes,
Akina,
yes,
my only friend during my college days.
Yes.
He was the only man with a phone, and everyone who wanted to talk to their parent would go to Njenga. When my mother died,
yes,
when I was in college, Njenga was the one that had to relay the message, because the man had to call him at night, tell him that, go tell Ken that his mother has passed on. Find a way
of telling.
Of telling. You see, and I've said that when my book, the first person to publish my book and to give me money and to house me at his office was Boniface Mwangi. You see, so what I'm saying is that there are injustices, but we must not begin to politicize them
and make it a blanket.
We must begin to isolate them. You know, when we isolate those injustices, we just say that, because when Ruto goes to Nyanza and saying that Nyinyi Wajaluo, never again will you be ostracized, never again.
What are you saying?
He's
weaponizing a wound.
He's weaponizing a wound. And he's weaponizing. And somebody said that in the run-up to 2022, Ruto was all over Mount Kenya with his sloganeering spirit. And he was whipping things. He was whipping up churches. He was whipping up...
Hatutakubali tena wale wa kungoa reli, wale wa vitina.
Can you imagine?
Wale wa uchawi ya tibim na uganga ya tialala. Alikuwa Nyeri.
You understand?
Yes, ako huko anasema
ako huko,
never again.
Never again.
And you see, sometimes also we fault Rigathi Gachagua. But you see, Rigathi has told Luo Nyanza that you guys be very careful, because that's the same charm. That's the same bewitching he did at the mountains.
See, and I said yesterday that you might hate someone so much, but please listen to them.
Yeah.
As a Luo in Kondele, you hate Gachagua.
You should start pronouncing that thing.
Can I chime in?
You must.
You want to chime in?
Yeah.
You Vash wants to chime in. Go ahead, Vash.
I think as Africans, we're often accused of being very tribal. And at some point it's true, but not very true. I think being tribal is human nature. Humans like being divided. There is a concept in psychology that says people like in group wanapenda kutetea watu wao. And I think this also happens in developed countries like the US. They are very divided on ideology. Ni vile tu yao inakaa vizuri because tushawa romanticize. But you will find in the US people who are conservative hawatakangi kuongea na liberals because they think liberals are the worst, watu wabaya kabisa. So it is not just unique to Africa. It's not just unique to Kenya. It is something that
but I can understand the liberals.
Just a minute.
And I think when we are having these conversations, we often blame the leaders. What tunatoa the contribution of us as a people in this whole thing. Tunataka kusema tu these leaders are bad, they are the ones who are politicizing this thing, but these leaders don't live in a vacuum. They come from a society, and that society is Kenya. So you as a Kenyan, what is your role? What is the role that you are playing in this tribalism issue? Hawezi sema tu ati Gachagua amekuja anani, but he's playing into a feeling that you already have. If you didn't have that feeling,
it would not resonate.
It will not resonate. So it is very fallacious and hypocritical to only blame leaders and not see our role as Kenyans in this issue.
Today, I saw people of Samburu demonstrating
That's unheard of, by the way.
The governor wetu aheshimiwe. I wanted to insult them. But I remembered I will go there to campaign for my party leader. So I kept quiet. But do they know what they are defending?
What they are into?
Ama, is it just myopia of saying that Lelelit is our son? But Lelelit ye mwenyewe mahali amekaa. He knows what is really happening. And I saw there was someone on top of the vehicle. It was a mobilized thing. That's why the leaders take the most blame, because as a leader you stand a chance to shape something. You can take advantage of the poverty of the people and say, we, Jagero, tafutie watu 300. Waambie kila mtu anaenda nyumbani na ngapi? 500. Waambie tukutane Jivanji. Wakishafika Jivanji, wao they don't even know why wamekuja.
Bora wameshow up.
Bora tu wako Jivanji wanaulizana, hey, nini
form ni gani?
Jagero ndio ametuliita. Wanaona Jagero ndio yeye anafika, unapewa 500 na t-shirt. 500 t-shirt. Haya, nani wanapepa bango? Kuna wale tu vierere wanasema ni mimi, wanabeba. Haya, tunaandamana tukidefend governor. Sawa sawa yeye, alafu tukimaliza tukutane hapa jioni 500 ingine ukirudisha t-shirt. Sasa wewe ulilipwa kuvaa, sasa utalipwa kutoa. Natembea town ukisema governor wetu, then it creates an impression that the people of Samburu
are supporting the governor.
Are supporting the governor. But the governor is using the same money he stole to pay the people he stole from to defend him.
So are you saying that when you are a mother or you are a father and your child is accused of being or stealing goods in the village, then you have to exercise some sense of discretion and discernment to determine what danger you are actually keeping in the house?
Yeah. And I think, Ochuka, also, the other thing that these words can be very confusing. Because when we say that we are tribal, what does this exactly mean? Does it mean that I love Luos and I hate the others? Or what does it actually mean? Because according to Vaj, I see the difference that I'm talking about. So, for example, I'm Nilot and I am Luo, and I'm very proud of being Nilotic, and I'm very proud of being Luo. Now, that has a full stop. And from there, I begin to associate myself and to mingle with a lawyer who is Joaquim.
With a Kushite.
Yes, who is Vash. And then there is a Kiari on the other side, on the editing suit, who is editing. Okay? I begin to associate with him. Now, if I am proud of being Luo, and I'm very proud of being Nilotic, and I give respect to Joaquim, and when Joaquim comes in the room, I hug him as a brother from another mother, and we take tea, and we take njugu, and we laugh, and we make podcasts. All right? There is nothing, I think, wrong with that.
No.
You see, but I think that a lot of people are being told that when a Luo walks into the room, then that is the enemy. Okay, and that is why I think, Vash, we are having a problem with the leaders that have got a lot of resources. Because you remember when Gachagua was throwing a lot of insults to Mr. William Ruto, a lot of people were largely quiet. But then when Ruto started doing the same, the Kenyans asked themselves this fundamental question: who is the adult in the room?
Yes.
You understand? So
you can't say they started first.
Yes.
Because he's not president.
Yes.
There is the power and honor
of being a president.
Of being a president.
Yeah.
That's why you are the only one with the 6 outrider bikes on the road.
Yeah.
Sahi Gachagua hana. So there is a level of
restraint.
Yeah.
Lakini sasa wewe umewachwa na watoto kwa boma. Wewe ndio mkubwa. Mzazi anarudi jioni anapata umepiga huyu
kunywa uji yote.
Kunywa uji. Ukiulizwa ati nini? Ndiye alianza kwanza.
I think we should stop this podcast. People of Radio, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure having you guys.
Really lovely.
It was lovely. Thank you, Mr. Chuka. It was wonderful having you. Chuka is an economist. Where is your book today? Is it in the bag?
Okay.
here.
Yeah, let's have a look at your book. And SG Sofina Party, who is also writing another book, because of his gallivanting with the party leader, he does not have time to finish it. But we are hoping that in due time, Ochuka has written a beautiful book called The Precursor. I was, as a man who never went to school, I was singled out to write the foreword.
There's an order for you to do so.
I think I should read for you the foreword, just the first sentence. And I say our lives often seem indifferent to what could alter our course in an instant. Growing up in the village along the banks of River Nyando, that's me, at the mouth of Lake Victoria, offered me a childhood of great simplicity and learning. Swimming in the deep waters with my peers, forging through hardship, tending to cattle, cutting reeds, and watching the seasons pass. This moment shaped my early understanding of life. So that is what I've written. This is also true for Omondi's journey as a young man grappling with grief, self-discovery, dreams, and the realities of living with cancer. And I think a lot of people do not know this, that Omondi Ochoka has been living with. Is that a good statement to say?
That's the correct one.
Yeah,
Yes.
living with cancer for how long?
15 years now.
For 15 years.
On and off.
On and off. Okay. And I say that over the past decade, I've witnessed his transformation firsthand. As Susan Sontag once observed, illness is the night side of life, a more wondrous citizenship. Yet it is also a teacher. Omondi's story honors this truth. It reveals not only the frailty of health, but also a miraculous transformation and resilience. So this is what Omondi Ochoka has written. The book is beautiful. So people of the internet, you can always buy it to support him. Omondi Ochoka is a man, he's a cat of 9 lives. And we have Joachim Simeu, one of the best storytellers of our time. And the people of the internet, for lack of a better word, love you so much, and they are always gathering here to listen to you. Wanasemanga tu wachanga fitina.
Joaquin ni mzuri lakini fitina.
There is no rose that has no thorn.
We have Vash, our dearest lady, and Gen Z, who is doing the research, giving us all the videos, and making sure that the rundown for this podcast is in order. We have Frank on the Mitambo and Mr. Obunga. And we have so many people who are in charge. Chieng is in charge of logistics. But the most important person in the room today are the people of the audience. The ones that gather around the fireplace in the evening at 7:30 to commune with us. Thank you very much from the bottommost part of our hearts. We want to ask you that if you are not a subscriber to this podcast, please do subscribe, hit on that notification bell so that when we have a beautiful podcast like this one, you'll be the first people, to join in. We are also on socials. If you feel that this is good, please share it with others and let people know about Political Headache. Until another episode, bye for now.
Thank you, very important.
HustlesAfrica.com, a guide to high-paying online jobs. At HustlesAfrica.com, you will discover the jobs people are doing from home, the platforms where opportunities are found, the skills that open doors, and the practical steps to begin earning. Go to HustlesAfrica.com today.